Doesn't take much, does it?
No, it doesn't. Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of the time, yeah, you have to spin to drift though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So,
the catch is having more laps is about making enough mistakes that you can do it right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It is just going to be mistake after mistake until you start to get a feel for it, really, to be honest with you. You can be really very slow, you don't need to rely too much on steering.
It's just sort of, how does it play when you do it?
So, come out nice and wide here. Turn in late, add a bit of throttle. Bit more. That's it. So what so what that was you're a bit too consistent on the throttle. So what you want is a nice blip rather than a long sort of press on.
Off.
Yeah, exactly. So when it slides, that's your cue basically to come off the gas. Let it slide, and then when it feels like it's about to straighten up, that's when you add a bit more gas again. Oh dear. So just over here, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Line.
When it's wet, it's almost impossible to see, to be honest with you.
Jesus.
So nice and late, bit of throttle, bit more. So there you go. So if you don't get the initiation right, it can be really difficult to rescue it mid-corner, which is basically what happened there, to be fair.
Makes sense.
So yeah, if you get it wrong as you go in, it's generally just, well, give up kind of thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Whereas if you get it right, you'll generally find the exit much easier. So there's a little MX-5 in here, so we'll just wait for him to move out of the way, and then we'll crack on. Generally you'll find as well, the less momentum you have on a day like today, the better coming into the tighter corners anyway. So pop it in a second and give it a bit of power here. So that's right, that's what we want. But you just got on the second blip of throttle a little early, so the car was already sliding. So you just want to blip that throttle later, basically, when the car starts to find a bit more grip. As I say, it's a bit of a nightmare day, to be honest.
Yeah. I started saying to one of the guys, like, is he going to make it easier or a lot harder? He's like, harder. I was like, right, okay.
Yeah, it does, yeah. You'd think it would be easier, but because it's an oiled track, ordinarily, the water just sits on top and it makes it like a total ice rink effect. You know, it's like Santa Pod when when it rains, they cancel, don't they, because you've got no grip. Okay, so a bit of gas here, a bit more, and then there you go. Yeah, it's very slippy there.
Yeah, it's
very slippy.
Figuring out how to control it to keep it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go a little wider next time.
Okay.
So we're slightly off track, and you might find you get a bit. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's easily done. So you might find you get a bit more grip slightly off track, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Wipers are your right stalk as well. So we'll just wait for him to crack on, and then we'll go from there.
It's definitely interesting being in the 350Z because it's one of the cars I'm like, would I want to buy one of these?
Yeah. They're great when they work properly.
Okay, that's.
I mean, if you're into your sort of sliding around and that kind of thing, and track days, drifting, blah blah blah, they are smashing cars. So keep it going. That's it. So the throttle is excellent there. You're just blipping it nicely. So first time we were a little bit too smooth.
Yep. That
time was bob on, really, to be honest. I appreciate you didn't want to go through the other 350 there as well.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll give them a few car lengths, let them do that bottom corner, and then we can do it after them, provided they get round, of course.
So I say luck would have it for me anyway. My car, I've got a Mondeo ST. It's off the road at the moment, so I'm borrowing a friend's MX-5.
Yeah, alright, okay.
But I find myself, I'm sat too high in it.
Yes, yeah,
which
yeah.
doesn't surprise me at all.
The MX-5 is a tiny, so if you're above about 5'5" in an MX-5, it is a bit of a squeeze,
Yeah.
I have to say. Steering wheel's
like
on your
90
knees as well.
Yeah.
yeah. Is it an ST220 you've got? Oh,
Yeah,
lovely. I do think they're cool. They're, I would say they're probably an appreciating classic now.
Maybe, I'm not sure mine is.
No, it's a bit tired, is it? That's it. So stay offline here. Bit more gas. That's it. So it's a bit more consistent on the outside, so you can hold it for a bit longer. You can use all of this that we're on here. We'll go ahead. So sometimes you do have to come offline. It's a bit of a cheat, but it works quite nicely.
Yeah. It was just interesting, like, see what you meant by going around that, you pick up a bit of grip.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of this is about learning this particular track, to be honest with you.
Learn the car, learn the track. The car is remarkably nice to drive.
Yeah. It's smooth, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can feel that it's quite a heavy car compared to like the MX-5. Yeah, that was close that one. So what you did there ever so slightly is you steered in as it was turning in as well. So just make sure you counter steer outwards and rely on. Generally, the way I think about it is the throttle controls where the car goes. The steering just balances the car on the way around, effectively.
Yeah. Instead of trying to steer, use the throttle just to kick it a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's knowing it and putting it into practice.
Yeah, well, that's it. Drifting's just practice, though.
Yeah.
You know? It really is. Practice makes perfect, as they say. That was better, much better. So you can see where the rear wheels were. That's ideally a better line there, but we could probably push a little wider again. Just a little bit, not massively so. If you stay tight to the sort of apex, as it were, it makes it a lot harder generally.
Yeah, you want more of a
so you're offline
than a pinch line.
Exactly, yes, exactly that. So you are totally offline for what compared to what most people would, imagine is the line. A squealy power steering belt there, I suppose.
What do you drive?
I've got a 335i.
Yeah,
and it's that's it. Keep it going, more gas. That's it. Use all the track. Lovely. That was excellent. Actually, that was excellent. Yeah, it's running about 450 brake and about 440 pound-feet of torque. So goes well. Bit of a boat, but goes well in a straight line. Put it that way. They're not a patch on M3s. I know that everybody says no, they make really good power, blah blah blah. But yeah, they make more power, but they don't necessarily drive better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what's interesting, like trying a lot of the different supercars as well, just sort of seeing how they handle it in various different ways.
Yeah, some of the stuff I find, that people, sing and dance about is sometimes a bit disappointing. So stuff like, I don't know, like our 458 race car really doesn't do it for me. I mean, it's rapid, don't get me wrong, but it's not the most exciting thing in the world. And it wants to kill you all the time.
Yep.
That's it, keep it going, so that's it. Nice, that's good, that's better. That is better, but you can keep that going all the way up to here, basically.
Yep. I was like, if I try and power it, I know it's just going to slide and go all over the place. Go get it.
The thing is as well, so like little blips of power will keep you sliding, but if add too much, you'll end up in the field. But if you don't add enough, you'll end up in the field. So it is it's a bit of a hard one to get, really, to be honest. Especially on a day like today, you're bound to sort of dip a wheel or so into the field, you know.
Well, we backed into it already. So.
Well, exactly. That's it, isn't it? You know. Such is the way. So he's going to come offline for you there by the looks of it. Yeah, you're.
Wow. This is the.
That's it. Keep it going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going more. That was good. That was good. But we picked up a bit of grip there on the outside, and it sort of shot us forward. So to overcome that, more throttle basically.
Yeah.
You did the right thing as well. You turned back into it when you felt we were straightening up. So that was good. It'll all come together. It just takes a bit of time.
Yeah. I said I don't expect to get perfect at this first day, like straight away.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I say to a lot of people. I think a lot of people expect too much from themselves. Too early on as well, you know. So the age-old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know? Neither were drifters. You know?
No. Hence the whole drift stitching is this.
Well, indeed, yeah. It's a good. It's a very romanticised way of saying cable tie, isn't it? A drift stitch.
Yes, exactly. I did that. I had a ZS 180.
Oh,
which
really?
Unfortunately, just went backwards into a bush. I
That's
needed some stitching.
Yeah. I just picked it up a ZS 180 recently, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sat in my garage yesterday.
I love my 180. Oh, I love my 180.
Yeah.
For it. Yeah.
They're good cars, really are. It's done 35,000 miles this one. It's only
wow.
had one owner as well, so yeah. I'm gonna. It needs a bit of work done.
Mine needed so much work done. It became uneconomical.
Yeah.
The engines and gearbox, all that sort of stuff survived though. Went to my sister's 180.
Yeah. All right. Nice. So first bit of throttle, excellent. Car was sliding nicely. You just didn't need the second bit, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Where is reverse on this?
Down and towards you.
There it is.
That's the only problem with these aftermarket gear knobs. You don't know where any of the gears are.
There's definitely a difference between the two corners as well, because that one's definitely, you slide more on it compared to one at the top.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you can definitely tell where it's easier to get the grip on the top corner.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this one is harder in some ways because it's longer.
Yeah.
But it's easier in other ways because there's less angle.
Yeah.
So, angle's a killer, really, to be honest, because if you're a full lock, you can't really balance it any further, you know. So if you add more throttle, you just end up backwards. So, cured with, that's the way to work. Cured with more throttle, that basically. It doesn't really matter at this stage. I'm all water now.
Yeah.
So. Nice. Lovely, really smooth. That'll make for a good action shot as well, that one. So what I sometimes do into here is, on the way in, I'll dab the brakes.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
You carry a bit. Yeah, you do need to slow down a bit.
Yeah, you do need to slow down a bit when it's like this. So if you dab the brakes, what it does as well is it puts the weight on the nose, so the back just wants to step out immediately anyway. So oftentimes you won't need to add very much throttle at all on the way in there, and that often saves you from spinning effectively. It's just trial and error, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You just try different things until you get it right.
Yep. It's nice being able to, where I am managing to get bits and pieces now and figuring it out a bit.
Yeah, definitely you do. You seem to be doing a lot better than whoever else is in that 350.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen them do a corner yet. As I say though, it's not the easiest thing to pick up on a day like today. No, it's just What I find sometimes you do is you react before it's happened. So let the car do what it wants to do, then react to what's happened, rather than thinking, well, the car's going to slide, so I'm going to steer out. But you've done it before the car slides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, outrageously slippy there. That looks pleasant for our photographer, doesn't it?
Pardon?
Standing in the middle there. Right, stalled this 350, there we go.
Do you know much of the differences between the 350 and the 370?
To be fair, I think I've driven a 370 and I wasn't that impressed, to be fair.
Okay.
They're supposed to have a bit more power, but I don't know whether that's offset by more weight. Lovely. It's alright, keep it going. Nicely done, very close. Yeah, but in fairness, the 370 I drove was a convertible, so it just felt a bit soft, to be honest with you. Why, what are you thinking? You thinking of considering one of those? Or?
I'm just considering them, yeah. It's sort of interesting just sort of to get out and drive it and see, do I like it? Would it be a little sports car that I'd like to own? I say little, it's not that little.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to go for a 370, it would probably be the Nismo, and because they're just a bit more hardcore, and it would have a roof as well. I wouldn't make that mistake. But I do think the 370 is a lot prettier than the 350. Whether it's better or not is a different matter, though. Try this bit again. It's like deja vu, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just a little late on the throttle there, that's all.
Just a little bit more, a little bit sooner.
Yes, exactly that. Because otherwise you do get a bit of understeer effectively.
Yep.
Which is just terrible.
The oversteer's a lot more fun.
It is a lot more fun, yes, yeah. Speaking of the devil, there's a 370 going up there.
Nice.
Yeah. I think their design's just a little bit more in date, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's just sort of tied up a little bit, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's it, yeah. So just a bit more on the way out, you would have had that. So it's much easier to keep the car slowing than to slide it and then let it snap back and then try and slide it again. That's it, lovely. So don't get too mad with the gas. So probably just a few too many blips in there.
Yep.
But that was nice though. We nearly had that.
Do you have any favourites of the fleet you've got here?
I do, to be fair. Ironically, it's probably the slower ones of the lot. So I like the Mustang.
Which one?
The GT500 or
Okay,
the modern mod. because that thing slides beautifully, actually. And the M3 is one of my favourites.
Fair enough.
But if
I can imagine that, given you've got the other one as well.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's just a lot of the time it's not just about all the power, it's about the drivability, really,
definitely.
But I mean, we talk about the M3 as if it's like, a cheap car, but I mean, it's just relative, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
If we're talking the supercars, the GTR, the R35, that's probably one of the top ones. The Viper, actually, the Viper's a great car. Yeah. When you drive that around in the summer and you come out in second gear out of the hairpin, like to light up the outside tyre. That's it. Keep it going. 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 Lovely. Now straighten up. Perfect. Good. He's gonna get out in front of you. So yeah. But yeah, every time you go down the straight in the summer and you've got the window down, it blows your eardrum out.
Yeah. That was good. Like last Saturday was warm enough. It was quite nice for doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well. It was decent weather, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were quite lucky actually in April. May not so clever, but
well, to be fair, like I don't think April was all that fantastic weather-wise.
I think we had a week where it was pretty nice, didn't we? And that was about it, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Got to take what you're given in England, though, haven't you? Again, you can get away with a bit more there.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit off-putting because
it's
of the field.
like the big puddles, you can't see what's there.
Yeah, exactly. But you can get away with a bit more there.
This sounds a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it just does.
Well, I think a lot of people give the 350s a bit of grief for what they sound like, but I like the sound of them. That's it, keep it going, keep it going. Lovely. That was judged to perfection, that one.
Thank you. I think some of it as well with the drifting stuff is sort of, if it's not happening, just you'll get the next one.
Yeah.
Don't try and keep it going thinking you're going to miss out.
Yeah. Like I said before, if you don't initiate well, it's going to be a pig to save. That's it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Just a little bit late on the throttle.
It's getting easier to save it at least.
Sorry?
It's getting easier to save it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're getting much more consistent as you go around. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep it going, keep it going. Don't need loads of angle necessarily, just just a little bit of angle works nicely. That was nice, that was transitioning from one direction to the other, so. Keep it going, keep it going. It's a hard one to get right on the exit, that one, because you are fighting inwards and outwards all the time,
Yeah.
If the track was a little more consistent, you could probably get away with less steering, but the more inconsistent it is, the more steering you have to do generally.
Yes.
Generally, the wider the line, the more throttle you need.
Yep.
So, you got any plans of getting anything exciting? Obviously, you're thinking about a 350.
This is all sort of potential future plans in a way, because at the moment we're looking at, me and my partner are sort of like trading both our cars into get one.
Alright, okay.
Which means SUV sort of based thing for the time being.
Alright,
practicality.
okay.
But she does kind of like her sporty cars as well.
Yeah.
So
further down the line, thinking maybe a toy. Yeah. carried a little bit too much speed into that, or out of that even. But yeah, I mean, you can pick these up for relatively cheap money as well.
That does seem to be the case. They're not super money.
Yeah, exactly. You want to pick up a tidy one though, really, if you are going to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there's plenty of dogs out there.
A lot of them have been doing this.
Exactly, yeah, exactly that. They didn't stall at that time, I'm impressed.
Don't mess that up.
It's alright. Next go around. That's it, that's better. So, you bailed out a little bit there.
Yeah, it was going to go, and I was like,
yeah.
It's interesting that I sort of instinctively went, just touch the brakes a bit, and it kind of brought it back.
Yeah, it snaps it back. So it's a bit of it's a difficult one, that one, because you have to judge it right, so you're not in the field, but you're not snapping back towards the field either. Lifted off at exactly the right time and then went back on. So you kept it sliding, but we didn't slide so much, so just go around it. Didn't slide so much so that we ended up in the field, basically. Nice. But you rested it, in fairness.
Just about.
Yeah. Well, it's facing the correct direction, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's a win as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, lovely. Back the other way. Keep it going, keep it going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So, no more throttle. Now throttle. Let it go, let it go. A little bit too much.
Yep.
That was great though. To transition into there is really, really difficult. So you just have to really judge that one right. Otherwise, it's because it's so narrow. You know, it's basically field or get it perfect. You know. That's lovely, yeah. So what I do is when I get to the point where I'm turning in here, I'll tap the brakes and then get back on the throttle. Good, well rescued that. You brought that in nicely with a big kick of the throttle there. Because that's generally where people bail out because they think, oh, I'm way wide here, but you can rescue it sometimes. Yeah, lovely. So a little bit too much there.
Yeah.
And then come right over towards the field and then get back on it. Well, it was close though, it was close, yeah. I mean, if you choose to build a drift track next to a field, you're bound to end up in it occasionally, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Interesting. That's it, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Keep going, more gas, more gas. So you can break away with angle and gas.
Yeah.
So more angle means less gas. When you're coming to rescue it like that, I would use plenty angle and plenty gas. That's it, keep it going, keep it going. Then let us slide across here.
As soon as I did it, that was a mistake.
That's it, so come in with a little bit more, so we're straightening up just as before we got to this corner. Come in with a little bit more and then let it slide from the inside to the outside, then you'll find some grip and then carry on from there basically.
So, one thing to make it slide, one thing to make it transition.
Yes, yeah, that's it. That was a hard one because we went really wide quite early there, so try a bit more throttle around the sort of centre of that corner. Nice, nice, nice. So probably give it a bit more there just to keep it sliding further out. That's it. Too much.
I think it's the catch with like trying to use the throttle just to get to kick it a little bit tighter, but then you also get a bit more speed, and he goes nope.
That's it. Yeah, it is. It is a difficult balance to get that one because it does, in many ways, push you inwards.
Yeah.
In field, but and also if you've got no grip at the back, you're going to continue sliding outwards. You know. Close but no cigar, as they say.
Yeah, not quite.
So probably got 2 or 3 more laps to do now,
yeah,
guys.
cool.
And then you've come on really strongly, actually. I mean, the fact that you're transitioning into this one, which I think is the hardest one to transition into, I think it's, you know, shows you've done well. Just keep it going. Because if you stop, you basically you're resigning yourself to being in the field for the next hour. Sort of rough stuff out there. Yeah. So even if you think you've overcooked it, often you can bring it back there. So I'd rather you overcooked it into that bit than undercooked it, because if you don't, you just go straight on, effectively. Yeah, so you find as well, as a track has been used more, the more grip you pick up effectively, because it just spreads the water across. So keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Lovely. And that's a nice brown line all the way along. Good angle that. Yeah, that's nice work, mate. It's going well, that. So last one, this one. Keep it going, keep it going. More steering in.
Yeah. Oh, we got a bit of water on the windshield. There we go. Clean up a little.
Yeah, exactly. Needs a wash anyway. It's got, I'll tell you what, there's no getting this car clean.
Yeah. No with all the oil.
Yeah, exactly. So they come across. Then back in. Oh, it's a bit too soon on that gas.
Yeah.
So you do let it just sort of wash across the track.
Yeah, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always got it that time.
Yeah, you did. Absolutely. It was good, that. He's going to go around you. And then that's it. Lovely. So just pull up more or less over there.
Yep.
And we'll call it quits there, mate. That was